Okay, here we go. So, here we are. So yeah, I wanted to do. We're both trying to get our personalities across a little bit more, maybe on social media.
Step out of our comfort zone.
Stepping out of the comfort zone, which we know there's usually a lot of growth comes from that. So I felt like a chat with the two of us could be quite interesting for us. Like, we've never done this.
Yeah.
But also maybe for people listening on social media.
So we're interrogating each other.
Exactly. And we got some fascinating, interesting questions, which I haven't prepared for. Have you prepared?
No. I think it's better that you don't prepare for these kind of things, because then it's like you don't want a scripted answer. People want to see the unpolished kind of
Absolutely.
behind what the people that we are, what makes us tick, kind of.
Absolutely, I would agree. And I'm gonna I love asking people questions, so I'm probably gonna go completely off script and ask you random things. And I want to first ask you now, just because it's come into my head, do you prepare for interview questions like before and after games? Or obviously it's a bit hard to prepare after, but do you prepare for like before, when you have to do your training Q&As and stuff?
I try not to prepare like as best I can. Like, it's usually I'm sent kind of a brief of what we could be asked, but I always find it's better not to have an answer prepared, because for the most part they might not even answer the question, like ask you the question that you have the answer for, and you'll end up using that answer in a question that they haven't even asked, and you kind of look like a bit of an idiot, which I have done many times in the past. But no, I try not to prepare as much anymore, because you always think that like the first thing that comes into your head, the most authentic answer, is the best and the most genuine. But yeah, in the past I would have tried to like have this whole script in my head, memorize it, and then I'd nearly be tripping up because I was just trying to memorize that too much. Yeah. So I just find kind of being authentic and being kind of on the spot is best sometimes.
Which I think people really like about you. I feel like you get good feedback about your interviews and stuff.
Yeah, well, some of them good, some of them not so good.
The not so good feedback, like in comments on social media, do you read those?
I used to like go like delving into them, because I used to use that as like motivation for me. Like, I'd be like, look what these people are saying, I'm going to prove them wrong. Or sometimes it would just be like, even if I was feeling really low about myself, or like if I've had a bad game, I'd still go looking and it's like, oh yeah, they're right. So like, I think you could get 200 positive comments on something, and you could get one or two negative ones, and that's what your mind automatically jumps to. It jumps to the negative.
Yeah.
And that's what I think I got out of that kind of that habit of doing that, because the only real opinions and critique that matters is that of, like, for me, like, in my work is my teammates, my coaches, and then my family and friends. Like, that's the only real kind of circle of people who really matter. And I saw a really good thing the other day, and it was like, if you have a problem with me and you have my number, text me about it and we can sort it out. But if you have a problem with me and don't have my number, you shouldn't have a problem with me, because you don't know me, basically.
Yeah.
Although it's quite different when you're in the fucking public eye, or on TV and national TV, so everyone has an opinion.
Yeah, obviously, like the negative comments and stuff are more a reflection of that person and what that person is feeling maybe about themselves.
Yeah.
But I imagine it takes a lot of practice to not let it affect you.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like, it has been like good for me in the past. Like I said, when I used that negativity to like spur me on and to kick on and push me past, maybe if I've hit a kind of a plateau in training, or a small bit kind of mentality wise, where I needed that kind of extra boost. I used it to my benefit. But for the most part, it's just kind of a bit of a waste of time, kind of sifting through all that kind of stuff and nonsense.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would you be nervous now for this chat?
I don't know why. Sometimes, yeah. I'm like when there's a camera in front of my face.
Yeah.
That one. I don't know.
You get a bit nervous.
Yeah, but even like it's the same with any kind of like I'd be nervous about going in and like as much I've been on like done all my fair share of interviews and stuff before. I think I kind of just treat them all the same. And probably my mind just treats them all the same.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like it's nice nerves, good kind of positive nerves, positive energy feel it.
In what sense? Like what's good about those nerves, do you think?
It's good because it makes, I suppose it gives you that experience, it gives you that kind of level where you're pushing yourself outside your comfort zone a small bit, doing things you wouldn't normally do. I think that's kind of all part of kind of growing personally, is to kind of stepping outside your comfort zone and doing things you're not used to doing, or doing things you don't really enjoy doing. Sometimes it's just kind of stepping out, dipping your toe in a few things, and I suppose this is just something that's I suppose incredibly necessary for business owners like us to obviously show other people who we are. And just it's the way the world has evolved and the world we live in is just kind of, I suppose, very necessary to do these kind of things.
So necessary. Someone said to me recently, Mark, actually one of our coaches, so we always talk about I suppose the common phrase used is getting outside your comfort zone. But Mark phrased it nicely there recently, and he described it as the growing edge.
He's away with words.
So you're just at that like you don't obviously want, and it's kind of the term we use in 3-stage a lot with coaching our members, like adequate challenge. All of the coaches talk about that a lot. I'm sure our members are almost sick of hearing it, but it's about making it, it can't be too little challenge because you're not going to get that progression or growth. It can't be too much because it's not sustainable, but it's just at that growing edge most of the time. And obviously you, over the past year, have you been in a growing edge, or do you think it's been too much? So you got the book, you launched the book, you had a baby.
I didn't have a baby, my wife had a baby.
Elaine had a baby. You went, obviously at the Lions tour, you launched the gym. Anything I'm missing?
And that about covers it, I think.
Covers it, just. So was that, do you feel like that was, honestly, right, was that growing edge, or was that too much? Do you think there was some maybe negatives to that? Is there any negatives? Do you think it's all a net positive? I don't know.
I think like at the time you can look at things and you can be so, I suppose, nearly like to the point of being burnt out with obviously so much going on. A lot of it in my control, a lot of it out of my control, a lot of, and a lot of it was completely my choice to do. My choice to do the book, my choice to do the gym. It was
have a baby.
Our choice to have a baby. Yeah, it was our choice to have to have a baby. So like it is kind of a point of like you reap what you sow, and I'm very grateful that I had the year that I had, even though it was incredibly difficult and incredibly challenging at times, trying to juggle 4 or 5 different things at once. It's now that we've come into 2026, I can look back in 2025 and be like, everything was a success. Everything turned out the way it should have. Because I went through that experience of juggling all those things. At the time, you're kind of like, you need a bit of a breathing room, and you're kind of like, have a bit of more that I can chew. But I think perspective now, when you have a bit of time goes past, you're very fortunate that everything kind of happened the way it did. And I'm like a big believer in kind of like the concept of a more fatty, your love of fate, your love of what has happened, you love what will happen to you, and you kind of make it your own. So I'm very fortunate that everything that happened the way it did in 2025, although challenging at times, but very rewarding.
And what do you mean? You make it your own. How do you mean? What do you mean by that?
So I'm very big into Stoicism.
Yeah.
There's a good quote by Marcus Aurelius, and it was, love the hand that fate deals you and play it as your own. And that's kind of been my thing throughout life. At the time, you think it's, I suppose, I had a kind of untrained mind to this kind of thing in my past when I was younger, dealing with a lot of things. But now I kind of, after kind of reading and kind of trying to improve myself, my mind, that you can look at things no matter what happens in kind of like a positive light and use it to your advantage. Because you can have two choices. You can use it to your advantage, or you can let it kind of bring you down, or let it kind of knock you off. And I think on a whole, I use a lot of things to my advantage. Just look at it from a different perspective.
Is there an example there of when I hate being asked for examples myself? So
Yeah,
you don't have to.
It's like one of those on the spot things. That was one of the things that I should have prepared for. Yeah.
Give me 3 examples. No, like, is there an example where you feel like you've made it your advantage, like, if that makes sense? Maybe something that you would have seen as, or most people would see as a negative.
The biggest thing that would kind of I'd relate to that is, I suppose, losing my mum when I was 12, and then I suppose I went through the tough years. And then I suppose as a result of that, I wanted to like get myself out of that kind of rut I was in by training, by getting really into nutrition, by like being obsessed with kind of rugby. And I suppose as a result of that, it's got me to where I am now in my professional career. But yeah, like it's very hard to see at the time when it happens, but it's like I said, when a bit of time goes past, you can then have that kind of time to reflect and be like, not that it was a good thing, but it was it has made me the person I am. Those events that has happened. Yeah.
Which is really, it's so conflicting.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because like, would things have panned out the way they were if that didn't happen, you know? So it's
yeah, like that's one thing you never know.
Yeah.
But I suppose I used the negativity, and I suppose for a while I let the negativity kind of fester and manifest in different ways until kind of I chose to turn it around and flip it on its head.
Yeah.
I think that's what I think you're very good at doing. You're very good at kind of seeing the best in things and kind of seeing things in a good light and making things your own. Like you're very good at putting your own mark at things. Whether that's innate or if it's a practice thing. But for me, it was definitely like I had to really be mindful of it.
I think when I first noticed and it was kind of a little bit subconsciously, I think. So we launched the gym 4.5 months ago, and I was so stressed.
No, you weren't.
I was in
unprofessional.
I would say I was in a tough enough place at the time.
Yeah.
A lot going on personally. Got kind of just. I got like
in on your like.
Yeah, just
you get
spiraled a little bit.
yeah.
And anyway, we'd be in here, so it was maybe like a couple of weeks before launch. We still had a few like commercial things to figure out. It was freaking me out, and you were like, Josh, like so many times, like, Josh, we're doing this now. Come on, let's get on with this. And then like you'd be in here with Max, like, and I'd be moaning, giving out, right? I feel like I've grown. My growth mindset has improved massively in the past like 4.5 months since we opened, and I'm happy to say like I'm much less like this. But at the time, I was giving out, moaning a bit. But like
you weren't.
you, like
No,
be
you
in
wasn't.
there, you wouldn't have slept, right? Because Max would have been up all night. You'd be just back from the Lions, like you had a lot going on, but you were in here, like I don't know, putting the hair dryers in the change room. We remember the day before we opened, we were like, we've no shower curtains. So we were Gareth
up,
went to get the shower curtains, Gareth and Deirdre. We were hanging them up, you know, like, but you were just getting on with it. And that's when I started to say to people, I was like, it's actually so impressive. Like Porter just gets the fuck on with it. Which obviously, like, you know, there's good and bad to that, but in that situation and stuff, yeah, that's when I first noticed your like positivity or ability to just like keep on going and just, you know, one foot in front of the other. And you'd see, I know you said I would see the positive, and this isn't just going to be me like complimenting you complimenting me. I don't want it to turn into that, but like you would see the upside, you know?
Yeah.
Which I feel like I definitely have now. I have much more of a growth mindset, but maybe back then a little bit more of a scarcity mindset.
Yeah. I think it's like that's one of those things where like when you're in it, you can like it's like that time can pass very quickly when you're kind of in on yourself and you're nearly just waiting for time to go by and just like, okay, just get me out of this and let's move on to the next thing. But it's like it's when it's I suppose being kind of cognizant of that and being able to catch yourself in that moment and be like, this is what we're doing, this is the reason why we're doing it. If I do this, if I do X, we'll get Y result. But if I just let this time pass and kind of just float through it and hope we get through it, or hope the time goes by faster because it's tough, there's no benefit to that really. But that's what I felt like. See, I wouldn't have said that about you. That like, obviously I knew you were very stressed with setting this up, but that's what I would have said it like. You're very good at kind of, I suppose parking something and being able to focus on the job at hand, because like the place wouldn't be, 3State wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you running it, doing all the background stuff. So but yeah, like sometimes like it is a case where you just gotta have to kind of buck up and be like, okay, like I have to get on with it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this won't happen if we don't just kind of, okay, like we'll grind this out and put in the work, and then we can take a bit of rest, a bit of pause, and look back and be like, okay, that was tough, but we have this now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%. So like I suppose it's more so me, but you know, 3State maybe has a mentor, Jens, right? And he kind of says like, so those last few months seemed extremely difficult at the time, and maybe things have gotten easier, or maybe I'm just more used to that kind of level of stress. So that's almost now my baseline.
It's your new normal.
My new normal.
Yeah.
So I thought that was quite an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah. That's why like 4 hours of sleep is my new normal now.
Yeah.
So it's learning to be efficient in that kind of zone of stress. And then I think you just adapt to it.
And you were saying there the other day, Max is starting to now sleep through the whole night, right? Okay.
Yeah, occasionally.
So you were saying that like 7 hours of sleep, like he was sleeping 7 to 7. So you got like 7 or 8 hours sleep.
Yeah.
And you felt
invincible. It felt incredible. I felt like I'd like taken some like magic pill that just I felt like I could be awake for like 24 hours. Like,
It's like Limitless. The movie.
yeah, fully.
Have you seen Limitless?
Yeah, Bradley Cooper. We should do that's our next like it's just talking movies.
Top 5 films you don't want to hear me talk about movies. Limited knowledge. Also, we asked our Instagram accounts, like what kind of questions for today. And one of the first responses was just rugby.
Just rugby.
No one wants to hear me talk about rugby for longer than 30 seconds.
You're the one talking. They didn't specify who. So you will be taking all the rugby questions today?
I can talk about my first ever rugby game.
Get the questions up.
Yeah, we'll get some questions. Just pause for a sec there. I want to check that that's 100% recording.
Yeah. Imagine.
Yeah. So I kind of remember. Let's have a look. What do you attribute to the success so far in 3-state? So I suppose just quickly for anyone who is listening who doesn't know the background, me and Andrew set up a gym back in September called 3-state. It's a small group personal training gym. So we provide personal training in a small group environment, groups of 4 to 6. And we very much, we're up to over 100 members now. It's going fantastic. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
You're loving it. Everyone seems to be loving it. Everyone's in their adequate challenge. But what do you attribute?
You had to say that.
What do
you had to say adequate challenge.
What do you attribute to 3-state's success so far?
It's definitely I think down to the people, having the right people, and having the right team. I'm not here on the ground every day, but this obviously isn't my job per se. But having the right people in place that you're going to have a great product at the end of the day, and have a great environment for members to come to and enjoy training, and that they look forward to training here. So having yourself obviously here every day, and the coaches, have Mark, Jake, and Alex. I think that's one of the most important things, is having the right people in place, because you build the right culture then, and you build the right. I suppose everyone's going towards the same goal. Mm-hmm. Everyone's very aligned, and I think that's incredibly important to make sure. Because if you have one person that's not bought in to what we're about here and what we wanted to build, then it can be a drain on the rest of the team, a drain on the members. So I think just having the right people in place, friendly, knowledgeable, skilled, are just incredible attributes to have for this particular business and what we've set out to do. How have you found, obviously, being in here and running it on a day-to-day? And obviously it was a lot of hard work in the beginning, but how has it kind of evolved for you?
Firstly, great answer. would really agree with that. I always worked one-to-one with dietetic clients and also personal training, and that obviously I really enjoyed it. Met some amazing people, one of them who was also our third business partner, and I'm very grateful for that. And I also really learnt a lot and developed my skills, learned how to communicate properly. But it was also extremely draining, and you're always just don't really feel like maybe you're growing. So I don't think I was in that growing edge for the past few years. So now, I'm much more challenged. I'm now, I suppose, in a bit more of a leader role, trying to lead the team to then deliver the product that we want them to deliver and the experience. So for me, I've been really enjoying that. Very different role for me. And yeah, in terms of, what do I attribute the success so far? You could pick lots of things. You could pick obviously the team is absolutely key to the whole thing. You know, I think our marketing was good, our model is good. The launch, we did a lot of time and effort into the launch, and like not starting from zero on day one. But I would say the biggest thing is you touched on it, like culture and community. I think we've done a really good job of creating an environment where people feel welcome and supported and heard. I think we have maybe potentially like a unique skill of like we're really good at meeting people where they're at and like understanding their unique circumstances in life. And I'm hoping that there's always a little bit of intimidation in gyms, but I'm hoping that, you know, we're creating that environment where people don't feel intimidated. And that, you know, we're not taking it too seriously out there. There's a little bit of fun, but also people are being progressed. There's obviously a great atmosphere, and that's some of the biggest feedback we get from the members is the atmosphere. People are very friendly, they're like-minded. It's like we have a group of very different members. Everyone's very unique, but we've similar values. You know? And that's what I think puts everyone kind of moving in the same direction as you touched on as well. So that's probably what I would attribute the success of Three State so far, around the culture and community.
It's also like what I've found is where you touched on it, is like you're attracting the right members. Like we have an incredible like community here, and that's like we can only do so much in that. Like I thought like what you've done on the day to day and how you kind of show up and how the coaches they greet people when they come in the door, and they get people set up on their kind of on their training journey if they're starting for the first time. And like you said, it can be very intimidating for people to come into a gym, but what you guys have done is you've kind of broken that barrier for a lot of people, and that's allowed our members to enjoy training. And then the kind of it's nearly like they've built the community. Then it's the right members there who are like, you can see it after sessions. Members are going to the sauna together, they're going for coffees together. People who they would have probably never met or never kind of spoken to in any other setting other than here. Like in what's here in Three State. It's great to see, like you have like the work you've done, and then it's down to our members then who've
knock-on effect.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's like gyms, or going to the gym for people is, you know, extremely difficult to keep consistent. Because we're not really designed to be in gyms. I'm not going to go into the whole hunter-gatherer
caveman spiel.
But we're not really designed to be here. So in my mind, it was always a case that, okay, we then need to create the environment to get people back in here, basically. You're not just coming here to lift heavier or push harder in the gym. You're also coming because it's a nice environment, because you like chatting to the coach, because you like chatting to that member that you're frequently in the same time with, because you maybe like doing the sauna after, because you like going down to get the coffee, because there's that social event in 3 or 4 weeks time that Three State are organising that you want to be involved in. So there's all these extra little things that are pulling people back in, which means that obviously that's good for us, that's good for our business, but it's also good for the member because it's getting them back in, exercising, which is extremely important for their health, important for longevity, all that kind of stuff. So I feel like that's another reason why the environment is so key in gyms.
It's having that kind of that pull factor rather than like, our members have great motivation, but like it's having that pull factor that makes it somewhere that's easy to come to, that it's not a chore to come in here.
Exactly.
It's like you wake up on a Monday morning, you could be coming to a 6 a.m. class, and it's like, oh, I have to get up for this class, but rather I get to go to this class. I like I can't wait to show up here and meet X, Y, and Z after this class. Yeah, so I think it's that's incredibly important in gyms, because it's very hard to come by in a lot of other settings.
Yeah, absolutely.
But gyms kind of more so, because in a lot of gyms people just kind of come in, do their own thing, leave, and that's what I think. Yeah, it's incredible about here. It's people who want to stick around. It's literally like you have to be kicking people out of the class because it's another class on.
That's true. There's a bit of that. I suppose that brings naturally into the next one of the questions I know someone asked is, why did you call it 3-state? So I'll start with this one.
Yeah.
So
you're good on this.
You were mentioning there about it's a place you also want to be, not that you kind of have to be in. And in our lives, there's kind of this sociology term of your third space or your third place. So your first space is your home, your second space is your work, and then your third space is somewhere where you come to, maybe meet people, connect, chill out. For some people that could be a coffee shop, some people could be the golf course, some people it's a gym. And I feel like it's a very powerful I don't know.
I suppose that kind of cornerstone in people's
exactly.
lives.
Perfect. We'll go with that. Cornerstone. So that's what we really wanted to create here, which I think we are doing. But then the name, we were going to call it Space 3. And then there was the reason we couldn't do that. So we switched to
a lot of legal work.
We switched to 3-state. And the whole idea, with 3-state was that it's not just a third place or space, it's also a state. Like it's a third state. It's a state of being, a state of mind. So that's where, along with my friend Nev, he helped us with all the branding. We got a lot of great feedback about the branding. But also with the name, he was a huge help with that. And that's where the name 3-state comes from. It's actually much preferred to Space 3. I think it's much more catchy. I think it rolls off the tongue easier. I think it's more memorable.
Less legal implications.
That's
like on when you touch on Nev there.
Open up there while you talk.
It's like the amount of kind of help that we've had along the way. Like since kind of we first came with the idea of we want to do a gym together because that's something we're incredibly passionate about. The amount of people that have kind of gone out of their way to help us out, whether or not it's come to anything or not, but it's the amount of people who've given their time to helping us along the way. Like when we were first thinking of doing kind of a gym, we remember we first started toying around with the idea of doing like a boxing kind of style gym, and then we had so many people helping us with that, like kind of the logistics of it, and then we obviously decided not to go ahead with that, and then we were looking for locations all around Dublin, and it was near impossible to find, but we had so many people helping, like contacting people to see if anyone was available, so many meetings with different people in different areas that weren't gym related, but obviously were people who knew business, which we didn't know a lot about, which was incredibly beneficial just to kind of sit in and kind of just like get the knowledge from them. Like that's why Gareth has been incredible, because I would have never like had any business experience or even looking at spreadsheets or this, that, and the other, which you're very, very good at now. But I'm like, it was all incredibly unknown to me. A lot of things that a lot of people have helped us out along the way.
I remember so when we launched, we did like a pre-sale for our founding members. So we opened with about 75 founding members, and well, actually a bit more than that, but anyway. So to do that, we had to, sell to people when we didn't even have a gym.
Yeah, it was like concrete walls.
Concrete.
Yeah, it was concrete.
And you did a lot of the sales. And you were saying, I remember again, just your approach to it, your growth mindset. You were like, "This is class. Like I'm learning so much here. That like you were like, this is completely new to me. Like using our software, Gym OS." Any thoughts on any of that? Like,
that's one of those things that like build up in your mind so much that like, oh my god, I've never done this before. I'm shitting it here. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna say. Don't know how people are gonna react on the other end of the phone. It's obviously like difficult to gauge people on the phone call.
Yeah.
But that's one of those things you build up so much in your mind that, oh god, like this is obviously the kind of, it was a huge thing, obviously getting the first few members for the gym, and like you said, wasn't even a gym at that stage.
Yeah.
But after like the first few calls you make, you get into that flow, you get into that rhythm, then you like really start enjoying it, because I suppose all you're doing is, we were just explaining what we were doing, or like that's what the phone calls were. I didn't see it as selling or I didn't see it as trying to, with that kind of pressure point to be like, okay, I have to sell. I saw it as, okay, just explain what we're doing, explain it, and like, to be fair, we were able to do that well because we had put everything in place, we'd organised everything, so it made it that much easier, and I think that much more rewarding, kind of, because you're just like, I'd never done that before, but I really enjoyed it, and obviously it turned out to be very, very successful. Like 75 members off, like before it was even a gym, and even having that experience of chatting to the members, getting to know the members, even if you're chatting to them for the first time. Yeah. It was all an incredibly positive experience and all learning. Like I remember I was at home doing calls and I was minding Max, and Max is there sitting on my lap while I'm on the phone to someone.
Sure, you were rocking.
I was rocking. I had him in his rocker and I tied a piece of string to it just because I was like just trying to keep him quiet on the phone, but it was actually quite like, for a lot of people who had kids on the other end of the phone, they were like, oh, I hear a baby in the background. It's like, yep, that's my head of sales beside me. Yeah.
That was your, you touched the...
Yeah, the emotional side, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's see what other...
More questions.
Other questions we have.
We do kind of like quick fires.
And this time will be a good time to tell you about our sponsors for the show.
The sponsors? Shopify.
3 State. The interval is over.
This is on the outtakes.
Just sticking on 3 State, I suppose. There's a good few questions that I got on Instagram around like the future of 3 State.
Yeah.
Without talking about my view first, right? Where do you see 3 State in 5 years' time? I have no idea what you're going to say here. We don't really have a clear 5-year business plan. No, being super honest.
I suppose like our first and main priority is making sure our first location is a success, and the fact I say our first location, because in my mind I'd plan for this to grow and grow and grow, because I think what we have here is incredibly special. What we've built, like the product, the service, and you can see that in like the proof is in it. It is in the feedback we get from our members.
The pudding, like.
The proof is in the pudding. I hate that saying so much, but like the proof is there from feedback from members, and I remember like when we were doing kind of like our marketing push, like a lot of people were, it was like, we couldn't cater to everyone because we were here, but a lot of people who didn't live near here and obviously it was a bit far for them were like, oh my god, I would have loved to have joined, but I'm just a bit too far away. So it would be good, obviously, to expand it. That's what I always had in mind for something like this. Like if you have something like a good product, and I think I know we definitely have that. It's only right that it should grow. But like as we stand at the moment, like we've only been open 4.5 months, so it's like it's still very, very early days. But like I think the potential for this is to grow, and like why not have more than one location, and keep have it grow legs and keep growing. That's in my mind.
And why more locations? Because I feel like that's a very common thing for people, maybe with any business. You know, they set up a pizza restaurant. So next step, I'll do more gyms. I'll do more. You know, why more gyms?
Because I think it's incredibly valuable what we offer, and kind of what the culture we have and what we've kind of set out to do is kind of make a gym that's accessible to all people, no matter what your training level, and no matter how much experience you have in a gym, whether or not you've been in like your first time in the gym or you're training for 10 plus years. It's something that's incredibly important. Obviously, to me and you, we know the value of training, or of kind of living an active lifestyle. And I think it's incredibly important that you're able to share that with kind of a wider, keep spreading it from here to like Galway to Cork, like all 4 quarters, because I think what we have is incredibly special, and like the importance of health and fitness in people's lives is something we're incredibly passionate about, and I know a lot of other people are as well.
So you want to stress me out with more locations?
And myself.
Yeah, I mean, so you basically just want to spread the love.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you have something that's worth kind of sharing, I think you should. And yeah, I think it's like what we've done so far has been incredibly positive, and the impact it's had on the members, incredibly positive as well. But yeah, like what do you think?
3 state in 5 years. Again, as you said, number one priority. In 5 years' time, I want this place to be like, you know, from a commercial standpoint, you know, like running smoothly and profitably without me needing to be here all of the time.
Yeah.
Like you can't scale locations without all those little small things being ironed out. Otherwise you're just scaling issues.
Yeah.
But in 5 years' time, and then from like a community standpoint, I want it to be a really strong community.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to train at 3 state. We're known, you know, as being the best gym, you know, in the area.
Yeah.
It's the best place to train. It's the best place to get results, progress. It's the least intimidating. It's all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I also will be in agreement that more locations, or a second location, maybe in 5 years' time, will be. I would like to give that a go.
Yeah. I was talking very much long term in terms of scaling it to more locations, but like if we're very long term, because like
but then like there's also the area of growth in, like, I think we could definitely do more online, and like hence this kind of podcast form, like, you know, get ourselves out there more, grow our personal brands, because that's all obviously going to help Three State as
Yeah.
well, and it can bring a lot of other ventures further down the road.
Yeah.
And obviously the health and fitness industry is constantly changing and evolving. We try to stay away from any fads. Like, that's why we didn't set up a CrossFit gym or a High Rocks gym, or there's always going to be something new. Like, we're just resistance training, which has been shown,
tried and tested.
It's tried and tested for it's been growing for the past 15, 20 years. When you look at trends, don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. There's a very, very strong line of evidence around its effectiveness and the importance of it for longevity and health, etc. So it's not like we've narrowed ourselves in on a certain niche, maybe, or fad, I suppose.
Yeah, it's keeping it simple as well. I think that's what a lot of people can nearly get caught up in, is kind of specialising too much. And I think that's what makes it work here, is that it's quite a simple, it's not simple in terms of all the workings of it, all the behind the scenes, but it's quite simple in terms of...
It's simple, yeah. It's not easy.
It's not, no, definitely not easy.
Our side or the members' side, but it's simple.
Yeah, it's simple for the members, and in that it's convenient. You have convenience there, which makes people come back. The training, the programming, obviously a lot goes into that, but it makes it simple for the people that matter, and that's the members. So it's you're not bought into the next best, the new shiny thing. It's kind of the tried and tested model. We know it works, and
still well.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's Three State in 5 years' time, right? Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Myself in 5 years' time? Hopefully still playing. Yeah.
Okay, so that's career,
career.
Rugby, still playing?
Still playing.
Do you ever think about your future much?
I never I never give it proper in-depth thought, where am I going to be in 5 years. I'm more short term. Where am I going to be next year? What am I going to be doing next year? What 5 new projects are we taking on? But yeah,
I interrupted you there. So go back to the still playing. Continue on with that. Sorry.
Yeah. But ideally still playing. But yeah, I probably don't put in as much thought into myself in 5-10 years. I'm more kind of 1 year in 1 year. What I can improve in 1 year, and how can I upskill in 1 year, so that the next year, I've improved, and I've kind of have a clearer sight on the future then. I tend to not focus too much on the future, because then I think that brings in a lot of worry, that what if this doesn't work out, or I think you have to be very adaptable in your approach to kind of in goals and goal setting, because not everything's going to be aligned the way you think it will. I think it's just easier to set kind of shorter term goals, and maybe 1 or 2 years where am I going to be. So professionally, it's very easy to set goals, because they're obviously very tangible and very kind of set, in terms of myself, in a year, hopefully I'll be at the World Cup in Australia, and yeah, keep playing, keep myself in top playing shape and injury free. It's obviously tough right now that I'm injured, but I suppose that's one of the things I've found very easy to do, is set professional goals, but I always find it hard to set kind of personal goals. That's kind of things that just kind of come to me there and then. If something happens, adversity or whatever, you're kind of what can I do to rectify that it doesn't happen again, that you can kind of narrow your sights on a small bit, because I think very long, like 5-10 year goals can be very vague and broad. So yeah, I try to keep it short and simple and kind of in blocks, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
I also find it very difficult to look ahead.
Yeah.
I suppose we're also, busy people. So you get kind of caught up in the day to day. But I think sometimes it is very important to just take a moment maybe to reflect and some deep thinking,
Yeah, kind of take stock.
But
where's Josh Percival in 5 years?
I've thought about this a decent bit recently. And I think the main thing in 5 years' time is that, so if I look back to when I was 25, I'm like, and especially in the past year, mostly in the past year really, so it's a little skewed, but I've grown so much, like an incredible amount as a, like obviously my career, but also just as a person in general. So I would like to, in 5 years' time, just look back at myself now.
Yeah.
And I hope that I'm like thinking the same thing, being like, God, I've grown. I'm a completely different person. I've grown so much. So whether that's like personal, career, family, I don't know. But I would like to, in 5 years' time, look back and see that same gap or bigger. So I think that's my goal.
Yeah.
So
that's a great way of looking at it, because like it goes back to what we were talking earlier on how when you're in the moment of things, it can seem really difficult, and then after time has passed, you look back and then you see, okay, that's where I was, and this is where I am now.
Yeah.
And because of those events that happened, it's made me into this better version of myself that I was. So yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah.
There you go. I've been thinking about it a lot. How often do you think about rugby? How much of your day is spent thinking about rugby?
Now, like it would have kind of been 24/7.
Really, yeah.
It would have been always like everything centered around, like, from when I woke up in the morning, and obviously in training then, like throughout the day, and then when I came home, still thinking about it, like doing everything, like thinking about training, thinking about games coming up ahead, thinking about like what I want to improve on, this, that, and the other, which is like, it's beneficial to a point of like, okay, I'm looking to keep improving, like, and like I suppose as an athlete, you always have to be kind of mindful of what you're doing, not just when you're in training, but also when you're outside with nutrition, recovery, but I found it quite, like, when you're on the whole time, it can be very, very draining. Like when you can't, I suppose, park the day when you get into your own hallway at home, and you're just constantly thinking about it, like you're in bed at night, and it's just like 1,000 thoughts about the day, of training, and but I think now that I have, like, particularly like when Max was born, it's like I'm a rugby player to this point. They would have stepped in the door of a dad.
Nice.
And it's a great way of being able to kind of like to switch off, because I suppose I suppose you have to be on, and it's just made me appreciate kind of it's made it easier, I suppose, to kind of switch off and kind of be mentally fresh then. Even though it's obviously tough, you get like sleepless nights and stuff, but it is a good distraction from things, as well as having the gym. It's a good way to be able to park kind of the rugby Andrew to gym Andrew, and then being able to kind of move on to dad Andrew, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's upsides to kind of thinking about rugby and thinking about it the whole time, in terms of kind of improvement and stuff in your game and stuff. But there's definitely downsides to just constantly thinking about it.
Fatiguing.
Mentally fatiguing, which is nearly worse than physical fatigue, because like you want to say mentally fresh, like if you're mentally fresh, it's a lot easier to get up out of bed in the morning. It's a lot easier to push yourself in training, and a lot easier to, I suppose, do the hard things when you're mentally fresh. But if you're mentally fatigued, everything else is so much. It makes everything so much harder. And not just like in rugby, it makes life outside rugby incredibly tough when you're mentally drained. So, yeah, that's one thing I've kind of. The past year has been very good for, obviously very tough year, but very good for being able to kind of refocus and stay mentally fresh.
Yeah, because you had a lot to think about other than rugby.
Yeah.
Do you mind me asking you more about rugby?
No.
So when a decision goes against you, right? Let's say in the scrum, and I imagine it's incredibly frustrating.
Yeah.
And emotionally triggering. How do you not get so angry, or what do you, like, have you just how do you feel in those moments? Like, let's say it's been in a game and there's a good few decisions going against you.
Yeah.
How do you stay composed? Do you stay composed? Any thoughts around that?
I suppose it's something that it's always constantly there, because it's always constantly in the game. It's always you're gonna have games where you go into and you can be doing your best and just things just aren't going the way you want them, which is obviously annoying, and you feel a bit fucked off sometimes. But there's no point, I suppose, in letting that kind of one moment kind of distract you from the next one. Because if you're worried and frustrated about something that happened 5 or 10 minutes ago, it's going to bleed into the rest of the game. It's going to bleed into your defense, your attack. It's going to cloud your judgment, cloud your mind, your decision making. If you're still holding on to that one moment, or few moments that have happened before, there's no point in kind of sitting on that. You have to move on to the next moment. And that's something that's kind of, that is definitely a learned thing, a learned skill that you have to be able to do. We've a great kind of mental skills coach, Gary Keegan in Ireland, that he's big on kind of next moment focus. So there's no point in being frustrated about what's just happened. You have to shift your focus into the next task at hand. And obviously it is you have good days and bad days, like anywhere. But yeah, I think it's just being able to being adaptable and being kind of that. It's having that kind of next moment focus then, and being able to kind of shift that, have that mental shift.
Did you read the Daily Stoic this morning?
I did.
It was on. It was basically that. It's just saying that you can. And this is all so much more easier said than done, but you can react emotionally, but it's probably going to have, and it's only going to have a negative effect.
Yeah.
And it's only going to worsen things. So if you can stay composed, generally make better decisions.
Yeah. That was the one on they used the journalist.
Yeah, it was kind of like my paparazzi.
Yeah, it was if you're sitting there and someone asks you something and you get heated and you react to it, you're basically giving them what they want. Especially with, I've been in that position where I've been heated after a game, or someone said something in the media that I didn't agree with, and then I've said something more, and then so you're just giving them something. You're just giving them more
I imagine
ammunition
that could
to-
easily happen in a game too. Like,
yeah,
you know.
exactly. Like if you let kind of your opponent get under your skin, like you're giving him that win, I suppose. We're letting the referee get under your skin. He's not obviously out to beat you, but yeah, like I think it's just it's about composure, mental composure, and it is a skill. It is something you have to be like mindful, because you can be slipping and kind of not notice it. Yeah. So you have to be able to catch yourself. Yeah.
Do you think you've gotten much better at that?
Yeah, I think I have. Like, again, it's very like it's all well and good having a plan going into it and being as best prepared as you can, and like in terms of your physical and mental preparation, and then like something happens in the moment and you're kind of like, or like happens repeatedly in one game, and you're kind of like, Jesus, like what am I doing? Like, but you have to there's no other option than to move on, and I suppose not let that moment or moments that have happened before affect the rest of the game. Yeah.
If you were in any other career, like if you had to have a different career, what do you think it would have been?
This is one of the toughest questions I've ever had.
Someone asked it, but I haven't thought about. I have no idea my answer, by the way. So
I'm like, anytime someone asks me this, I'm just like, oh, I'd just be in the gym training the whole time.
Yeah.
But
because you've recently done the strength and conditioning course, right?
Yeah. I'm a fully qualified personal trainer.
So we'll be getting you out in the gym floor. You'll be covering.
I'll be covering all the sick leave and annual leave now. But yeah, like I did economics in college when I started off, and that was very much I think it was very much a like, oh, I need to go to college. Everyone's going to college. Like I had that kind of pressure of still not knowing what I really wanted to do leaving school. So like now it seems like obviously it took me 7 years to do a 3-year course, because obviously I was playing at the time. But yeah, like that was definitely one of those things that like it was kind of, I did it for the sake of doing it rather than I did it with like a clear plan. But like the last few years, like I knew what I was incredibly passionate about. I knew what I loved doing, and that's like in the gym. That's being kind of a part of a gym. I always loved training in the gym, so I always loved training in the gym, so like why not do something I'm passionate about?
Yeah.
And I did my personal training course, and then
You're kind of doing it.
I'm doing it. I'm living it. But
yeah, it's a tough question, because like I feel like, especially in this day and age, and definitely in the future, like potentially people could have lots of different careers. Like, you know, I could see myself having like 3 or 4 more careers in the rest of my life, genuinely. Like, you just never know what way life's going to take you and what might happen. For me anyway, I feel most fulfilled when I'm connecting with people. Yeah. I suppose that's one of the reasons why I love my job so much now. But I'm really interested in like finance and investing, and I feel like people I feel like you're not taught like, you know, personal finance in school at all, and like I feel like that would be quite a cool area to be in, to teach people like, you know, how to manage their money. Do you know,
wealth management kind of?
More like just, you know,
financial advisor.
You know, like the importance of saving, or maybe the importance of investing, like kind of principles. I don't know. I feel like that would be really effective to teach people that. Yeah. In school, maybe be a teacher.
You'd be a good teacher.
I'd like to teach.
Strict.
I'd be strict. Yeah. I don't know. Just again, a career where I'm like connecting with people again would be most important for me.
Yeah.
But I have not thought about that question much now at all.
Well, you have like a lot of accolades to your name. 2 master's degrees.
Things going on there.
He's a master of many things.
Do you have any concluding thoughts? I mean, we've been talking for well over an hour now, so that's probably enough.
No.
What do you? Sorry, go on.
Sorry,
go.
you.
No, you go. Please go.
No, you.
Well, I was going to say, what do you want this to become in a year's time? What do you want this? Like, do you think this could be a podcast?
Definitely. I think like people always like are looking for information, but like there's so much. It's like information overload there. But like I think like we're very good at keeping things simple and keeping things like relatable as well. Like I think like it's been great, like all the questions coming in about like so many different topics, and I think there's a lot that we can cover in it.
Yeah, we've hardly touched on.
Yeah, we've only scratched the surface really, and like a few things. Like this is only just a get to know us kind of thing. Now you've got to know us, but yeah, I think like there's room for growth in anything, and that's what's most exciting about kind of is putting yourself in kind of in new scenarios, new situations. Yeah, I think there's always room to grow as a person in business in everything. So
there's one thing I don't have it. It's on our business WhatsApp. Someone sent a really nice question, but also their thoughts on 3 Sit. I wanted to touch on it, but we'll do it next time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was good.
What do you want to see
for this?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of potential in this kind of format. I think we can get some interesting guests. I think we have really interesting members. I'd love to talk to them. I feel like I'm quite good at asking questions, so I feel like we should play into that strength. People are really interested in you, learning about your life. I know you're going to do more of that in social media. Keep that up.
Gonna try it.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right.
Stay tuned.
Thanks,
yeah.
man.